So before we get started, the data tells me that out of everybody who listens, only 51% of you have pushed the subscribe button. So it would mean the world to me if you would push subscribe, that you'd like the ones that you like and that you'd share them with people that you think it would be helpful to as well. Also, if you want to provide me any feedback on what you might like to hear in future conversations, then there is a link to my team in the show notes. So, yeah, send us an email. I'd love to hear back from you. So now back to the show.
All right, so welcome, Kim. We've just been chatting hair and humidity and curls, as you do, if you're going to hang around with me. Most people say something about hair. So the reason I wanted to have a chat to Kim today, because I think Kim's a lot like a lot of women that I work with, and what they think coaching is and what coaching is often not what they thought. And I think that just briefly, maybe tell the audience, how'd you come across me, Kim? I don't remember. Even if I did remember, I'd forget. How did you come across me?
I think it was just through Instagram, to be honest. I just kept seeing this lady on Instagram, her face popped up, and then her face popped up again, and then her face popped up again. And then I was like, hang on, I feel like I actually really resonate with this person. So then I started following you and, saw more of your videos and your posts, and I thought, shit, like she gets it. Like I've not met this person and she gets it.
Yeah.
So that sort of is what got the ball rolling for me. I'm like, hang on, I'm making these mistakes that I'm learning from. This lady clearly has the experience and has been so open about it. Wouldn't it just make sense to learn from her instead of, continuing to make the same mistakes and then wondering what I'm doing wrong? Like she must have the answer. And if she doesn't, she knows someone with the answer. But I just thought, dip the toes in and then jump in.
That's how socials work, isn't it, really? Like people expect that you can put an ad on socials and you'll capture clients. And I think it doesn't work like that. I think it's called social. So it's like having a party and you keep showing up at the same party and that person's there and then somehow you end up right beside her next to the party and you start chatting. And that's kind of how it works, isn't it? So, and I think that's a good thing about the grey hair. It gives you a clue that I've been around a while. But it's like when someone can explain your pain or what that soreness or stiffness is that you think, I wish someone could help me with that. Then you feel the safeness to tell someone what you're really worried about. And I think that's the power of socials, and there would be equally as many people who go, nah, I don't feel like she does. I don't think like she does. So that's fine. But it's kind of like it's like a sifting and sorting, isn't it? And that's really nice.
Well, yeah, I think that, like, especially because on your social media, you were raw and vulnerable and real, I could resonate quickly, which meant that, what could essentially have taken me a 12 or an 18-month turnaround with actually getting some form of coaching, you had me within three months. Yeah. So, I think it's brilliant because I didn't then have to, like with coaching, you want to make sure you're both mutually aligned. Yeah. So you're doing me a benefit by being real and raw straight away and just cutting through the bullshit and not wasting time because, when you're a salon owner, you don't have time.
No, you don't have time. And I can't be anything else. I've tried to be polished and that didn't work. So the older I get, the more I just think, I'll let them sort it out. Just be you and let them sort it out, which is really nice, actually. And so the people I work with, I just can be me. And so I meet people sometimes and they go, you're just like in your book. And I'm thinking, or you're just like on socials. And I'm thinking, yeah, and I don't understand. Like, yeah I don't understand.
Well, I would be quite shocked if, I jumped onto a coaching call with you and you weren't like what you were on socials. I would be like, hang on, that's not.
Yeah. Well, I'm a bit shorter, but you can't tell on the Zoom. Yeah. I'm only 5'3" and people go, oh, you're tiny. I go, yeah, I am. That's probably the only shock. So if you had your time again, firstly, what did you experience? Like, Had you had a coach before me, Kim?
I've had business coaching, but not necessarily like salon coaching. And I think that's what I really appreciated with you. You covered so many aspects, but in such a wholesome way where it wasn't purely business focused, because it's all well and good to have this business mindset and to behave in a business sense, but at the heart of a business is a human. And I think that's what I really appreciated was it wasn't just numbers. It wasn't just, like emails. That's great. You do learn those things, but there was also so much to it that, I got through the coaching that I was like, hang on, this is like a therapy session or some form of, like counseling session. I'm like, wow, I'm getting bang for my buck, business and therapy. Amazing.
Oh, they're connected. They're very connected. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Well, I think for me, my very first coach was a business one altogether. And as much as he taught me heaps, and I will forever be grateful, he couldn't get me to build confidence in a second year and how to rinse a colour. Do you know what I mean? He just had no concept of what happens, the emotional side, I think, and how we feel as a woman too. He was a man. And you don't have to be a woman to understand a woman, but I do think there's a kind of something that is really unique to a hair and beauty professional, I think, and it shouldn't be that way, but it just is. I think we're very driven by people's emotional wellness and outcomes, and yeah, we're not making widgets, we're not making these bigger and faster and for less dollars. It's the satisfaction of another human being that lights us up. And so I think that's tricky. So that's really important. Now, the last thing I wanted to ask you was, if you had your time again and you were just starting out in your business, what would you do? What would you do differently? Like, let's pretend you're going to open a business. I say people are either renovating or building. They're building a new house, which they're opening a brand new business, or they're renovating an existing one, meaning they bought it off someone else, or by the time they come to me, they've been in business 3 years, 5 years or more. What would you do differently? Like, if you had, if you're going to open a salon, right? So that's like a new build. Or if you're going to renovate one, which means that it's an existing salon that you took over, what would you do differently? What do you think? If you knew what you knew now, what would be something you'd keep your eye on or you'd look out for? Or
I think
what would you accept?
I would, regardless of whether I was building or renovating, I think you need to look inwards and be able to accept things as they come. So if I was starting again, I would make sure that the foundation and the structure was good. And at the heart of a business is the human. So I would make sure that the human was good first.
Yeah, very important, isn't it? Yeah. Because I think what happens a lot, I find, is they have to undo and then redo, unlearn and relearn. And so quite often in the budget for buying or the budget for opening a salon, there's very little budget for human resources, leadership. There's more budget for floor and basins and all of the beauty rooms and all the equipment, but you probably need about 15,000 for the first year. It's not much, really, when you think about what your spend is. And I've had people come to me before they started, and I just get so excited because they put the foundational pieces in first, and then there's no undoing and redoing, no renovating. It's a new build. So.
Yeah. I think if that was the advice someone could give me or I could give someone, it's great to have a beautiful salon and spend thousands on a fit out. But what happens when you don't have leadership skills? What happens when you can't communicate? What happens when you see things as an attack and go on the defense mode all the time? Who's going to then
talk you down?
Who's going to make use of the beautiful salon? Well, no one, because no one will want to be around you.
It's funny, isn't it? I think as women, we we're people pleasers. I think that we're drawn to the industry because we're people pleasers, and you've got to be a people pleaser. You can't not be a people pleaser. But I think sometimes it gets a bit out of balance and we get a bit handcuffed by pleasing this client, pleasing that client. And I just think, no, that's fine. You need a good stream of leads coming into your business, always need new leads. You need a team that you want to work with and not avoid, and you need a buffer at the bank. So, knowing those numbers right from the beginning and how many clients you'll need and where you're going to get them from, it's 101,
Mm-hmm.
But I was the
Yeah.
same. I just went into it. I think I was about year 3 and I thought, oh, this is a bit ordinary now. Now I'm retired. But I think, I don't know, I guess when I had a business, like this wasn't business coaches, it was a bit new. I remember my first years as a coach, I had to almost explain what one was. But now I think it's more common, which I'm really happy about because I think everybody needs some sort of help. But yeah, everybody's different and they come when you're ready. And my experience is you can't drag them.
Yeah.
It's not a convincing program. It's you come when you're ready, and otherwise it doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Mind you too, I actually this testimonial sort of was organized at my request as well, because I think more people should do it, because it's helped me so much in terms of business and in life. I think the resources that you provide people, the time that you put in, I just see so much value into it.
That's nice.
And yeah, and honestly, it has, being in like the group setting, and having like a couple one-on-ones, but just being in the group setting where people were vulnerable as well. It was so nice to feel like seen, heard, feel safe. And also to observe, like I was always a fly on the wall. But I loved being able to hear these people in such, like different settings and different parts of the world pretty much. And we all had similar issues, and it helped me be able to preemptively like prepare for any issues like that could happen. So there was a lot of foresight that I gained
Yeah.
based off people's hindsight. And when you think, oh fuck, like I wish I knew that.
Yeah.
Like you're in a Zoom room with 30 people who have that hindsight, and you will never get that. You will never get that. So that
They're
is
hand
to me.
selected. They're very hand selected too.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah,
early,
I know.
in the early days, not so much. But yeah, I'm too old to be working with someone I didn't really want to have time with. You know what I mean? I just feel like that's one of the nice things about getting old. And thanks for saying that, because I didn't know how you ended up in my diary. I said to Jess, how come Kim's here? And he said, yeah, Kim suggested. I said, oh, that's good, because it's something
Yeah.
I know I should do more of, but it's not that I can't be bothered. I just think we've got things to get on with, and it's about you. It's not about me. But yeah, so that's really good. So I'm glad you did. So thank you for being so.
No, thank you. Because
Cool.
I honestly, because I was like, hang on, I've been in business for 7 years, and I felt like every time I'm overseeing things and giving outwards, but you never get like a pat on the head or well done or whatever. And I was like, do you know what? Like, I actually need to thank Lisa, and the fact that you're doing this. And I think it's a great opportunity for someone. If someone is looking for coaching, you will get more than you expect. Like, you will learn things. Yeah.
In
You
a
will
good way.
you will learn a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
You will get more than you expect. Yeah.
That's right. I love it. It's such a good job. It's just to see somebody just go from feeling, like sometimes you've had a party and a week later you pull out the couch and there's a helium balloon that looks pretty ordinary, behind the couch. Some
Yeah.
women are like that when they arrive. And I think, oh, love, but to see them all bounce up and start to be and realize that they're the person who steers their life, and that we
Yeah.
can't please everybody. That is not going to happen. And so to
Yeah.
be happy because you choose to, and not secondhand happy. I'll be happy when my team perform. I'll be happy when I get this new person. I'll be happy when I get the salon renovated. I'll be happy when I've got this. I'll be happy when I've got that. No, you can be happy in the moment. It's just a choice. It's really is a choice. And so,
Yep.
yeah, it's nice. I like that. So
And
I'm
regardless
very
of whether,
pleased.
no, all good. And regardless of whether someone has staff or are a team of 1 or a team of 2 or a team of 20 or have rent a chair, I think the skills are so valuable. Like, do you remember how I was telling you about, like, speaking to you about Camilla, and like her confidence and things like that? And now she's a rent a chair from me and she's confident to have her own business. So, like, had I not had this salon coaching, what position would I be in now? Because there was a few times that I did have to, there was no blame game, but there was a few times that I did have to look at myself and think, okay, well, what am I doing to be proactive? And somehow you deliver it in a way that doesn't feel like an attack, which is such a hard thing to do. But yeah, it was really nice. Like, the way how I would describe you is you're like this auntie that wants what's best for you, like, being that I'm like younger, but it felt like an auntie that was like coming and smacking me on the back of the head, but like telling me, like, you can do better. And like, it was like a encouragement, but also tough love. It was, I don't know, it was what I needed. So it was nice to have that, like, those moments where I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to pull my head in. And sometimes, like, you didn't even have to say anything. Sometimes it would just be in a conversation throughout the group or in the resource book, which, mind you, is huge, and so helpful. I still look through it and go back through it. But all the things with mindfulness and values, purpose, all those things, you don't learn that from a regular business coach.
I think what's really nice is that if you're a skill, you get a person, like, everybody gets a choice. And what I put there, you don't have to take it, but you can if you want to. And so when you're talking about in general terms, it's like it's not here, you do this and have it. It's not like that. I don't think our personality types like to be told, but we like to have options and we like to choose for ourselves. And so that comes a lot from, I think a lot of our audience are ADHD, and we've been told we're in the wrong room, we're on the wrong day, we're at the wrong event. And so there's it's triggering to tell someone you're wrong. I'd never tell someone wrong because it's their choice. But when you can see your part in the bit that's going on around you, then you think, wow, I hadn't really thought about it like that. Yeah, that's interesting. And so then you can go, yeah, maybe I've got to ask her differently. I had someone today say, when I go away, I've got a big list. I'm going to go into the girls tomorrow and tell them and give them the big list. And I said, well, you could, but I said, I've got another way you could do it. Would you be interested in? She goes, yeah. And I said, well, what if you don't go in with the list? What if you go in and you say to the girls, now, when I'm away next week, what do you think could pop up? Or is there anything you're concerned about? And she goes, oh, I never thought of it like that. I said, so get them to write it down and then see on Post-it notes and put them up on the wall and see how many of them are the same. Because I said, I think that the first thing is the list never ends. It's like a roll of toilet paper. When that roll of lists ends, you get another one, put another roll on. We don't run out. So I said, what your concern is probably like tedious and small. And I think what's the overarching? Like, if something goes wrong, who do you call? And what is something that goes wrong? Like, to define what would be worthy of a call and then find out what they want, and you might be surprised. I think if you get out of the way and give them a chance, but also let them know that you will be there, but you need a holiday. And she said, oh, wow, never thought of it like that. She was just going to come in with the big long list. And I'm thinking, I think that sends a message that when I'm away, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do that. And they're thinking, oh, then you're going to spook them. Why don't you ask them? What would be the most help when I'm away? Anyway, after a bit more conversation, we worked out that answering the phone, because her coordinator's away too. And that's probably the thing. I said, well, we could divert the phone. She goes, wow. I said, but don't tell them that. Just ask them, because I said you could divert the phone, someone could answer it, and then they could come down to the salon and put them in. I said, could that person book an appointment? She said, yeah. I said, good. So maybe if they're concerned about being interrupted and going to the phone all the day, what if you said, for the next 6 days when I'm away, there'll be no phone calls in the salon? Like, that's a win. And they'll still get looked after. So
Yeah.
there's always another way, but I think we're a bit close to the prize or a bit close to the problem. So I said, just see how that goes. So I don't know. I only just spoke to her before, so we'll see
Yeah.
what happens. But there is
No,
always
but I
another
love
way.
that.
Yeah,
I
there is.
love that. It's the options that you provide as well. And it's like, and it's no way is it saying like, okay, well, your way is the wrong or the right way, but it's like, well, here are the other options. Have you exhausted all your options before?
Yeah.
You know, and that I think when you mentioned, you know, like the ADHD aspect, execution is not a skill that we have. So, you know, when you provide
Not
these
naturally. Not naturally.
yeah. Yeah. So it literally in your resource book, like in the books that you have in your
The portal.
the salon mentors, I just think I'm like, hang on, like this is so simple. Like, why have I overcomplicated things and tried to make a mountain out of a molehill when like the answer is right here? So that was also so helpful, like the execution part of things.
And quite often the answer is to just talk to them.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
they come to me and it's like a sounding board. And I say, have you spoken to her? No. I said, why not? I don't know. But it gets less and less as you get going. And you think, oh, what would Lisa say? Because she's sitting here. And they go, Lisa would say, why don't you talk to her and ask her what she wants first? Let her go first, you know, instead of coming
Yeah.
into a room with a list of jobs or a list of things, you know. People feel a bit like, oh, because you don't like being told, and no one else in our industry does too. But we like to be able to workshop it. So your best friend ever is Post-it note, I think, because you can move them around, and they don't really work in Bali. They fall off the walls because of the humidity, but in the rest of the world, they're pretty good. Well, I won't keep you any longer. Thank you so much. You're very kind,
No.
and
No, all good.
yeah, I'll pop in and see you one day soon. You're absolutely beautiful on camera. Gorgeous.
Oh,
Good.
thank you.
You
Thank you.
got the
Well, I
dogs to be
plan on
quiet, so that was good.
yeah. Well, I plan on coming to Bali. Like I plan on coming in and out of Bali over the next 12 months. That's my goal. That's my dream. You've inspired me. So I'm sure we will bump heads at some point.
Yeah, let me know when you're here. We'll have a coconut together.
Oh, perfect.